What is up, RuneScape players? It's your boy John McGarrett's back with another video. In today's video, I looked at my inspiration tab on my YouTube studio page, and it said Osrs free-to-play AFK money making. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. And today's going to be kind of just a talking head video because I want to just go over what the best free-to-play money-making methods are, or not necessarily like what they are and how to do them, but like where to find them. Because if you're looking on YouTube for resources on how to make money AFK on RuneScape, especially in free-to-play, YouTube may not be the best place to go for that because of a couple reasons. And the first big one that I can think of off the top of my head is that there's not a lot of free-to-play creators creating high-quality content. The fact that I have multiple videos with like thousands of views is kind of testament to that, since my videos are, in comparison to a lot of the content creator community on RuneScape, pretty trash. And that I was able to come onto the scene and produce videos that were able to get a couple thousand views, to me speaks volumes to the lack of creators in the free-to-play space. So that's why do I say that? Because that brings us to the topic of today's video. And so the topic of today's video is like where to find AFK moneymakers and how to pick the AFK ness out of those money makers. So the first thing you want to do is go to a new tab and type in like old school RuneScape free-to-play money making, and then you should get the old school RuneScape wiki, which is, again, you know, what I was just on, but I'm just showing you just in case you don't know about this resource to just look it up. Look it up, the wiki, and then not necessarily just looking up the wiki is going to be good enough here if you don't know like where to find the money makers or whatever. Sorry, I need to figure out where to put myself here so I'm not like distracting from the information on the page. Maybe up here seems pretty good, but you need to look here on the wiki because this is a lot more in-depth of a resource with a lot more people working on it. So like, for instance, if we go to any method here, we have ourselves an items made per hour. We have a lot of information, the skill requirements right here, the items you need, and you know, like kind of how this video feels pretty stupid. They include, or it feels stupid for me to make this because it kind of feels like everybody should know this stuff. But like for instance, like the wiki creators don't seem to also have that problem with making content or like making guides or whatever, because they don't seem to include or they don't have a problem including the obvious. You know what I mean? Like when you're smithing, it should be pretty obvious to most people that you need a hammer, but they just seem to just add it in, or they seem to, you know, they cover everything is what I'm trying to say. So like they do not miss details. So it's very in depth is what I'm saying. Like you will get a lot more value as a free to play player trying to figure out what to do from going to the wiki and looking up free to play specific guides. When I make guides for free to play and stuff like that, it's more of like either a unique nature, but not necessarily like the best options or the most like informational sources. The guides that I've been making and stuff for free to play have been more so of an experimental, fun nature. But if you want like raw, really good information with the best information available, the wiki is your resource to go to. So then the last part of that, like, sorry, before we get to that part, so I just like would really want to break it in. You know, they put in recommendations. They tell you that you need money up front for this money maker. They include if you need quests or if there's any other like whatever, and they'll include your profit you're looking to get if you hit this rate, and you can kind of adjust it so you can see like what's your rate if you're somehow able to smith like 1800 somehow. You know what I mean? And it's like already calculated for you, etc. And they have disclaimers down here, like I don't know. There's just so much information here on the wiki. And again, I feel kind of silly making this, but because this was on my Inspire tab that people are looking this up on YouTube, I feel like I just need to reroute you to the wiki And then to find the AFK-ness of items, you know, you got your hourly profit here, and if you select each of these, you can get like different, you know, you can alphabetize it or whatever it is. You can sort by profit. So if you wanted to look at like the least profitable moneymaker or whatever, I don't know, for whatever reason you can sort that way, or you can sort by skills. I'm not sure how it sorts, but it does like whatever. But the thing you want to look at for AFK-ness would be intensity here. So high intensity, like making dies, that would, you know, intuitively that sounds like it's not good for AFK-ness. But if we were to then sort by low, smithing rune items is pretty AFK. High alching is pretty AFK. I mean, like, depending on what your definition of AFK is. It's low intensity, so you can kind of do it without really paying attention to it. Making pie shells, pretty AFK. Crafting jewelry is pretty AFK. Some of these you got to kind of look out for. When like blessing unblessed symbols, you got to do a little experience, and I guess this is where the advantage of like doing it on or watching YouTube guides would be, because then like they can people can explore that nuance a little bit. Because let's say for instance, yes, this is a pretty decent moneymaker here, like the 231k per hour after tax is pretty good with only 31 prayer requirement. It sounds pretty good, but like when you look at holy symbol here and you look at the daily volume, it's only 6,700. So when you look at the real-time prices, you have huge price fluctuations, but you don't have a lot of volume. So if you can make 360 an hour, let's go 6,800 divided by 360 an hour. If you do this for 18 hours, so realistically you do this probably over like 5 days, it would take you a whole day to sell your symbols and actually get your money. So this one's kind of like, you know what I mean? It is AFK, but is it the best AFK moneymaker? Because like you're not getting your money right away. Something like high alching free-to-play items would be like a really good moneymaker because you're immediately getting the money. Though, yeah. So I just kind of wanted to like, again, just talk about this a little bit. And then I guess since you're here, if you are this far, I'll just kind of look at this list and tell you what I think the best AFK moneymakers are, just to summarize this video or sum it up. I would say smithing root items is really good, but it has such a high requirement, so it's not the best. Let me zoom in just in case you can't read this. Okay, so you have smithing root items, which is the best for hourly profit. I would say that's like really good, but the requirement is 99, so it's not going to be within the reach of people who are, in my opinion, looking up AFK money-making free-to-play methods, because 99 smithing is kind of a goal that is like really hard to attain for players who don't have access to a lot of. If you get 99 smithing, you know you're not looking up OSRS free-to-play moneymakers, okay? That's all I'm saying. The best AFK, this isn't the most AFK, but I would say high alching profitable items this would be the best moneymaker for free-to-play overall. And it is kind of AFK. So you can like be on your laptop watching TV, watching a movie. Yeah, so then this is the best moneymaker. I think all free-to-play accounts should be doing this moneymaker. Just hands down. High alching profitable free-to-play items is the best way to go about it. It's scalable to more accounts. It's very AFK. You can just click a button and watch TV. That's super AFK. Making pie shells, pretty good. It's limited. I would say this is probably like top 10, but it's not the best because you can only buy 500 pie dishes every 4 hours. So that makes it very limited. So what you're actually getting here, it does calculate that, 500 here. So you're actually going to be getting only 173k per instance. So every 4 hours, you'll only be able to make 173k, which is not nothing. Especially to a free-to-play player. I feel like 173k to a free-to-play player is a lot different than to a members player. but it is not the best. But I would say it's top 10 because you can buy pie shells ahead of time while you're doing something else. Put in an offer for pie shells, maybe like 50,000 of them if you have the money. Take a week off of RuneScape. I don't know, maybe take a couple weeks off RuneScape. Have like 10 accounts. If you're a viewer of this channel, you know what I'm talking about. Bypass the buy limits a little bit, get a lot of money. You know what I mean? There's workarounds, there's ways to play it that you can make a little bit more money doing it. And the reason why I'm saying top 10 also is because there is no requirements to start it up besides that limiter. Yeah. Jewelry, I would say, is pretty good. I'm not 100% like, in terms of AFK, I would say jewelry is very good for AFK-ness, but I'm not 100% sure on the AFK like the profitability of these items, because let's see here. So it's saying diamond necklace is 2.3 million for 1,200, but let's go into the view charts here. Let's get my calculator out. And the last sale was at 1981. $2.3 mil. Yeah. So yeah, that is pretty legit. Okay. But you know, I don't know the margins very specific. I haven't done it enough to really talk about it too much. But if I do trust the wiki, I would say AFK ability with crafting jewelry is good. And if it is this profit margin, you're going to check GE, whatever, to make sure. Blessing on blessed symbols, not a very good one. Jewelry, whatever. I would say making uncooked meat pizzas is probably not a very good item to get because, again, low buy volume. And it looks like a lot of price fluctuation here. $4.91. I don't know, maybe it's good. I just wouldn't trust this because of the low volume for like consistent money making. If you look at like diamond jewelry here, the diamond necklace, you're doing 1 million. So you're going to get your money back pretty quick compared to when you put it in. Yeah. Team capes, I would say no. This is probably not a very good one either, because if we look at the volume of the Team 6 cape or something like that, it's 1,000. Okay, so that's something to look at for when you're like looking at these. Sometimes it sounds too good to be true, and it usually is. So like one of the things to look for would be the volume of the item that you're trying to sell. Same with monk's robes. Honestly, 31 prayer for a free-to-play player, unless you're like a progressed account. This isn't a very good like newbie. 31 prayer in members is super easy to get, but it takes some time and cash to get as a free-to-play player that you can't really bypass. So I would stay away from prayer moneymakers. And again, making uncooked berry pies is one of those things. I feel like this is a really low volume. Lo and behold, it's less than 10,000. Not very good. Canning cowhide, I would say this is a top 10 as well. This is always going to be a way for you to make money. I know hard leather isn't super good for making volume-wise, but it's still okay. You know what I mean? It's 10 times better than those other methods, which I said those are bad, but 10 times bad is okay. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to, you're not making a lot of sales with the hard leather, we can always just go for leather here. And leather has an 867,000 daily volume, but it is a little bit it's cheaper by about 30%. So you're gonna be cutting into your profit about 30% here. Let me reset this, please. Oh no, what? You can get 3,500. Oh right. So you'll be cutting into this about 30%. So that is about 36. It's 54K off the top. So you'll be getting me 130K an hour, which again for no requirements is pretty good, I would say. Leather or hard leather, you should be able to sell hard leather pretty quickly, but just not as fast. It's not as instant, so you may have to take like a few minutes or 20-30 minutes when you're selling to get your money back. Cutting use, this would be, I would say, the most AFK Free to play moneymaker. This is like, so for in just strictly terms of AFK-ness, this would be the best. But it requires a little bit upfront work where you get 60 wood cutting. But once you get that, again, depending on how AFK you want to get it. If you're going after AFK, then this is really good for AFK. But if you do the fully AFK method where you're not really paying attention, you're only making 50K an hour, but it is the most AFK. So if that's your objective, then that's what you should be doing. But if not, this isn't the best AFK one because you have to participate in the anima infused bark activities from the whatever they're called, that new forestry event. So if we hop back here, collecting and tanning cowhide, you know, that's not very, it's kind of AFK, but it's not that good. Again, you know what I mean? As you get down here, cooking raw lobster is pretty AFK. You know, once per inventory, whatever. But the more AFK that you are into these methods as well, it's going to cut into your profits a little bit. I'm just saying. But yeah. So that's kind of what I would like endorse when it comes to AFK moneymakers. And I wouldn't really endorse anything else. So again, like I said, this isn't going to be probably too popular of a video for a lot of people. I'm only doing this because of what was in my Inspire tab for what is the most like keyword search from people who view my content. So it's kind of what I've been going for when I've been when I was making this. So hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe. Maybe leave some comments on other things you want me to talk about or look at or whatever. And I hope to catch you guys soon. So have a nice day.